George, this is truly an honor. I got to tell you, you're a hard guy to catch up with because you're so fast.
I try to kind of stay here a little bit.
This is one of your streamliners. These are just amazing land speed cars. They go so incredibly fast with you behind the wheel.
Well, nobody's ever driven either one of the cars I've got. I'm the only one who's ever driven them. And part of that is the economics of it. I have to spend the money, so I'm going to have the fun.
By golly, I wouldn't pass that up either. Yeah. But this is the Speed Demon or the Speed Demon 2 or what? Which car is this?
This is the original flat fire car.
Oh.
It ran a flathead in it, which that body is in Speedway's museum now.
Oh, right.
He set a 300 record with it as fast as flathead for years. But we rebodied this car in something like 2000 and put this fiberglass body on it, and it's an old car. When I crashed it, they decertified it. They wouldn't let me run it anymore.
So when you crashed it, how fast were you going?
370.
Well, that's got to be terrifying.
Well, it really wasn't. I mean, I'm after it's over with, I know I could be hurt, but it really wasn't that traumatic event. You know, I got out of it and walked to the ambulance, and I was back out on the salt the next day.
So, I mean, what's it like to go at the speeds you go? I mean,
well, up to about 400, 425, it's kind of fun, and then after you go around 450, you know, you realize how quickly something can happen to you and how bad it can happen. But you're really not thinking about the speed. You're thinking about your job to drive. You know, how to shift and watching your gauges and how to stay between the mile markers, and then you got quite a bit to do when you stop. You know, you pull parachutes, you know, let it coast, cut the engine off, get it out of gear, you know, dump all the water out of the intercooler. You have quite a few things to do when you're trying to stop, and you're coasting to a stop. So, you know, we've got about 3 miles to coast to a stop.
And I bet it takes all of that.
It takes all of that.
So you're a busy man when you're shutting her down.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to save your engine, and you don't want it coasting for 3 miles with it in gear and the engine not running.
No.
Chugging on your clutch and your drive staying. So you've got quite a few things to do when you're trying to stop. More really than you do when you're trying to start.
You know, I never even thought of that. Yeah. So how fast have you gone in this?
This car I went 462 with a 300 cubic inch motor.
That, again, I mean, it's just, things happen so fast at 462 miles. I mean, that's jet airplane speed.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I got upside down in it, and I was upside down 550 feet.
Literally?
Literally upside down.
That's not an expression. It was upside down.
It landed on its roof.
So what do they do? They have to flip it back over to get you out, right?
Well, it ended up on its side. It wasn't upside down, it was on the side, and I was laying in it. And I took the steering wheel off and undid the seat belts and fell down on the left side and crawled out of it.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been racing out there for about 30 years.
Really?
But, driving this fast, we've been going over 400. I set the first 400 record out there around 2007.
Really?
Like yeah.
I mean, it's a special place, isn't it, the salt?
Yeah, salt's a special place that we're losing, you know, the erosion and what goes on out there is shrinking the salt. You know, we used to have 22 miles out there in the 40s and 50s. And when I started racing, we could get 13-mile course. And last year we had 5 good miles and 3 decent miles to stop.
And that was it, huh?
After that, it's just horrible. You run out of salt and it gets muddy.
Yeah.
It's just a muddy lake bed underneath the salt.
Well, you can bury a car in that stuff, can't you?
You can bury a car.
That's not good. That cannot be good.
No.
So you're a winner in 09, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And 14, 15, 17, 18,
You just ran out of place to paint, right? You need to need to extend the
nose.
other
car, we crashed this car in 15 when we were going, and I won the Hot Rod Trophy out there 10 years. The Hot Rod Trophy, they give this trophy to you for the fastest car out there at Speedway.
Yeah.
And they just engrave your name on it. They don't give you the trophy, they just engrave your name on it. So Hot Rod Magazine started that thing in 1948.
Well, your name's been on it so many times they might actually end up just giving it to you eventually. Hey, it must be yours. Your name's on it umpteen times.
10 times. We've owned it for 10 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. So can we open the cockpit and see what she
Sure.
looks like? So what's this material?
Nice plexiglass.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to heat it and bend it. That's one of the biggest issues in building this car.
Is it really?
I had 2 of these made when I had the thing done for it. The new car, we redesigned the front end on it. When I crashed, this is the first thing that flew off of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that kind of
Yeah.
protects you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new canopy goes up like an airplane.
I see. There's not much there. It's just kind
Well,
of.
you got 2 parachutes, you got shifters on the steering wheel, you got your instrument clusters up there, you got fire extinguishers that spray on if you're on fire, and the red panels parachute, cut the engine off.
But it does look all business.
Yeah.
It's definitely all business.
You're
Wow.
strapped in there real tight. You know, you got a Hans device on you. Your head can go forward about 2 inches, and side to side you've got less than 2 inches that your head moves.
Is it a rough ride? I mean, are you being beat around in
It
there?
depends on the course. you
Yeah,
know.
sure, that's true.
Go out there some years, it's a rough ride. In 21, it was just as smooth as an interstate highway.
No kidding. At 400 some odd miles an hour.
Mother Nature does it, and we don't know why. This past year, before it rained, it was a little rough, and I wasn't excited about driving on it.
Did it smooth out after the rain?
The water goes away, but the salt's still real wet.
Oh yeah.
Funny thing about it is it'll be, 115 degrees out there, and you go out there early in the morning, the salt's still wet.
It's
And
so
you don't
weird.
get as good a traction as you do. Your
Man.
best times to run in the morning for the air that you have and altitude that you're running at is 7 o'clock in the morning, but we've gotten more speed out of the car in the afternoon about 4 o'clock when
Really?
it's hot and the salt is drier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Get better traction with it.
George, what are you running? Because it's a piston powered car still.
Well, it's a standard 350 Chevrolet block, just like it's in a Chevrolet pickup.
Really?
And it's dart heads
Yeah.
and Hogan intake we have to make for it. And it's electronic fuel injection. We don't have the coil packs on this. This is just for display, but you have an individual coil for each cylinder instead of a distributor on it. You don't have a distributor. We're on
Pack
coil
on every
pack.
cylinder, right?
We buy the aluminum heads from Dart, and you have to have the crank built for whatever cubic inches you want to run. And then you have a cam built for how much fuel and everything you want to run in it and what cubic inches you're running.
And then you're running 2 turbos?
We run this car, we ran twin precision 88 millimeter turbos. We ran this little engine about 35 pounds of boost.
Wow. Without blowing it apart.
Well, we blow stuff apart. We blow valve
You've blown a
cover
few. You've
gaskets,
blown a
oil
few.
pan gaskets. We blow stuff above. The new car, we didn't make any square tanks. They're all round because they're stronger. You can't blow
really?
them up. But, we've blown the top of the intake off. We've split the water tank. If you burn a piston, you burn a hole in a piston and you keep running, the compression that's supposed to be going out the exhaust is going down in the engine.
Oh.
So it's going to try to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
And it can come out the fuel tank, not the fuel tank, but the oil tank, the water tank, the valve covers.
It's
the
going to go
head
somewhere.
gasket. It wants out.
It ain't going to stay there.
It don't want to go out the exhaust pipe.
What can you get out of a 350 horsepower wise?
We run about 2,200 horsepower of this 300 cubic inch engine.
And what's the fuel?
Alcohol.
Okay.
And the big block we run about 3,500 horsepower with 55 pounds of boost.
Just
We blow stuff out of it.
you blow stuff out of that all the time. And then back to the tail, does it taper off to kind of a boat tail? Is that, again, from a streamlined standpoint, is that your best airflow?
Well, the Streamliner class, you have to have the rear wheels covered.
I see.
The tail and the design of it is designed for stability, the air to go across it and over it, and downforce. When you build a car like this, you need to find the center of gravity,
Yeah.
and then the center, the pressure on it. When you're going down the course, you want the center of the pressure that's coming down over all this car to be right here in the middle of it.
Is that right?
So you know, put rubber skirts on it. You can't do much to the rear end. So the rear end is the biggest problem we have with traction. We don't have much problem with lift up here.
How many wheels does it have?
We run billet aluminum wheels on the back and just steel wheels on the front.
But 2 in back and 1 in front, or?
You got to run 2. The 2 fronts are like this.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, if you have one to go flat on you, the car don't lay down on you.
But
They're offset and they steer like that.
separate axles.
They're 21-inch wheels.
A 21-inch wheel? Where's it?
See that
Right
little
there, yeah.
bump there, that's a wheel.
I'm
That's
astounded it's
That's
that
a
big.
1/4-inch steel plate in there, so if you blow a tire out, I don't have to eat the rubber.
It really doesn't taste that good anyway. It doesn't taste that good at all. Wow. Well, so are you going for 500?
That's what the crew tells me. That's what they brag about. I ain't big on bragging.
Well, I tell you, George, this has just been amazing. You're just an amazing guy. I'm so glad you came out today and spent some time here. You're my hero, man.
We enjoy you on television. I watch you.
I enjoy you on the salt. Thanks, George.
Okay.
That was awesome. Jeez, you're awesome. What fun.